Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today, we will be talking about Collegiate VALORANT. I really don't want to make this video too long. I just kind of want to get my point across, or at least give some more insight to why I feel the way that I do feel about Collegiate, and then maybe some more information that people might not know or understand. Okay, so the reason for this video comes from this tweet. So, Hybrid, who is the esports coordinator for Saints Gaming, aka the Saints Clair, or the Saint Saint Clair's University. Got it. Saint Clair Saints in Canada. Okay, so he says Collegiate isn't stable. Tier 2 is the way. Sure, guys, thumbs up. So, first of all, I don't know if he realizes how horrible it is for an Oxygen Esports to just be disbanding and not coming back. They were in Valorant in Europe, and then they came to NA with an academy team, and then they qualified for Challengers, and then they played another year of Challengers with the intent to actually make the franchise league. They also have a Call of Duty franchise team. They were connected to the New England Patriots, and they went under. So that's a really bad thing for all of esports, no matter how you are involved. That's something you really hate to see. So what I replied here was basically just saying that it's really bad to just like be kind of like happy that this happened, or just like pointing a finger at it, trying to like make a point. And then I finish it just by saying how Collegiate will never be a road to tier 1. And that there is, yes, a 1% chance that you overperform, pad your stats, and you get scouted, right? But that can also happen from ranked. We've seen time and time and time again. Have you heard of somebody named LFToxy? Have you heard of somebody named Narrate? Okay, because I have, compared to collegiate players, right? So this person here, the instructor of esports and academic development lead at Esports Alberta, says you used the word never and then cited temporary problems of teams FFing matches. Many leagues are cracking down on this, and in more developed leagues like NACE, forfeited matches rarely occur. CVAL is growing; it just takes time. Fact is, collegiate is more sustainable. Individual school programs can run at a loss since they operate as a student service. Players are relatively consistent 4 years in college, so there's less player and staff turnover. Less risky for players since there are options for them if the grind for pro doesn't work. So I think the main part about this that people have a hard time understanding is the timeline of Valorant. So, depending on how much you followed when you started, year 1 and 2 Valorant was literally insane. There was a total boom. There were like 40 orgs in the game. Some of the shittiest teams, shittiest players were winning Knights monthlies, Nerd Street monthlies, and they were literally getting signed on the behalf of that, getting paid thousands of dollars a month. Okay, the crypto boom was going on, COVID, okay? Everybody was inside, everybody loved esports, everybody wanted to be involved, okay? That eventually popped. Okay, all these orgs hashing out all this money, they start dissipating because their rosters suck and they don't really know what they're doing. They're just in it to be in it, right? So the argument here that collegiate isn't stable and tier 2 is the way, I don't really know myself personally or anyone who's ever said collegiate isn't stable. Collegiate is the stable, okay? That is the stable part. And respectfully, it's where dreams go to die. If you don't have any offers, if you're in a hard place in real life where like the clock is ticking and like here you are, you have to make a decision. Am I going to go to school and get a degree from Valorant, or am I going to gamble that, work my ass off and try to get a shot, an opportunity somewhere, some way, pro, challengers, franchising, whatever it is, whatever the region is? Collegiate is where dreams go to die. As harsh as that is, and I'm not trying to be offensive here by any means. There's nothing wrong with playing collegiate. I advocate it. Okay, going in there, getting a 4-year degree just from playing Valorant, that's excellent, man. And I'll tell you right now, collegiate Valorant, in terms of being a athlete, is nowhere remotely close to what it takes to be on a football team, on a baseball team, on a basketball team. Nowhere remotely close. And a part that I type in here is that um, I feel like I have a little bit more insight than the average person would on collegiate. I've never played collegiate and I've never been on a team, but I have a lot of friends who have. They talk to me about stuff. I've also gone to collegiate events in real life to meet people, meet friends, just because I love the game and I love the community. And I know that collegiate is the stable way, but don't poke fun at like tier 2 and like going pro when like things start to get ugly over here. Because this is where I think that this comes from, okay? And again, Hybrid's a grown man. I know that he's not going to take this personally. We're just having a little back and forth here, just debating something. I think collegiate players, at the higher level at least, the higher echelon, they feel a certain type of way inside, and I don't think that they would all admit this, but I feel they feel a certain way inside that they're not taken serious. It's not pro, you know what I mean? It's not the highest form of gameplay, and that kind of like offends them that it's kind of like a joke. And then on the other hand, like that's what they want to be, right? That's what the dream is, going pro, making a living out of this. That's what they want. That's what they want to have. That's what the goal was, right? And then it's kind of like half-assed. There's like a little bit of an imposter syndrome developed, okay, through some collegiate players who have big egos and stuff like that. It's very silly, guys. Collegiate is a complete joke. We all know this. I mean, look at the FFs that are happening. FFs happen all throughout all leagues. People are just being forfeited. You don't show up, you can't play classes, unable to go there, whatever it is. I've watched in real life a LAN tournament with thousands of dollars on the line. Blinny Esports playing a team in an elimination stage. The team that was playing Blinn Esports went up a map on them. They end up losing the game 1-2. In the second and the third map, when they were losing to Blinn, they were typing in the chat. I was sitting behind them. They were typing in the chat, LMFAO, you guys take this so serious. We don't even play this game. LMAO, I haven't opened this game in 3 weeks. Like, if I'm an esports director, not only am I just taking your scholarship and setting it on fire, but dude, you're getting like blacklisted from college. But that's not the case. This is how it goes. This like half-assed camaraderie where it's like, hey, you know, you can get something out of Valorant because going pro is really, really hard. This is a way more sustainable, stable way to go. I get it. It makes total sense. Go for it. If you get a degree from playing Valorant when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 21, whatever it is, that is great. You're going to be able to apply that to your life for the rest of your life rather than the very, very, very small chance that Valorant going pro, whatever it is you're doing, content creation, it's not going to be there for you. It's a very, very low chance. A lot of things have to go your way. It's not just hard work. There's a little bit of like luck and networking that's involved as well. So it's really something to think about here. Another thing that kind of bothers me about collegiate is how predatory it is to upcoming talent. Again, we have this first option of the dark road, the rainy, dark forest with the big abandoned castle in the background with vultures circling on top of it. That's like the path to pro, the really scary, hard shit, the gambling, you know, not having money, not having a reliable job if you do have one. You could be replaced like this, right? It's a real thing. But if you battle through it, you muster through it, you put the time, the work in, you make the right decision more often than the wrong one, it can pay off. And then our other hand, right, the other road is again collegiate. The sun is shining, there's a rainbow, you know, people are there waving to you, hey, how's it going? Welcome. It's a participation league, guys. There's no sort of ego involved when I'm saying this. We all know this, whether I'm involved or not. I know you guys, the collegiate players, don't take it serious. And the sad part is, I know some of them who do. And they have been scrutinized by their own team for taking it serious. It gets uncomfortable when stuff starts to get, you know, serious, right? People start bringing up problems. Hey, we need to be doing better. Hey, you could be doing better at this. They avoid the conflict, okay? I know we're using slurs in the prac room. I know a certain challengers team in collegiate was using slurs in the prac room, okay? I know this is a very low level, you know, joking thing. It's absolutely great that it's stable. It is not a path to tier 1. And that's what tier 2 is. Tier 2 is a path to tier 1, your challengers league, okay? Even your tier 3 with your monthly tournaments and stuff like that. This is how you get noticed. Collegiate is not that, okay? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a diss. It's just two separate avenues. You just need to understand the difference between them, okay? Don't get offended that you're not pro. And then when pro things start going bad, you kind of, you know, chime in and make fun of it, right? Because that's not a smart thing to do. So going back to that point of it being predatory with those two roads we talked about, I feel like schools are reaching out to younger talent, trying to recruit them as fast as possible. And parents would love their child to get a degree, right? Rather than sit there in their room all day and play ranked stream and, you know, try to go pro because they don't know what that means, right? You know, everybody's probably encountered something like that with a family member or a guardian, whatever it is, where they're like, "Get off the computer," and you're like, "No, I'm like working, I'm like practicing." I'm like, "Just pause the game," you know what I mean? Shit like that. So I think it's dangerous to commit instantaneously when you're younger to a school because you want to operate in this like 18 to like 21-year-old phase, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you really do care about Valorant and you are passionate, you want to operate in that 18 to 21-year-old range of working hard. Don't commit to something just because it like sounds good for 4 years because that's a lot of time, right? being able to actually like work on yourself, work on your brand, work on your career, you're going to develop that way more if you invest all your time into it rather than school. Okay. So something I like to point out in terms of just like age values here. Again, we talked about Oxy, right? This guy, I think, just turned, he just turned 18. He's playing on teams like G2 Esports and Cloud9. He's making more money than a doctor. His parents wanted him to be a doctor. They wanted him to be a dentist, and he's making more money than that. Okay, narrate. A little older, not necessarily a kid anymore, but 21. Does anyone know how this guy got recognized? Because I do. He picked Chamber. He typed in all chat talking shit to pros, and he put that he's the best player in the world in his title when he streamed. He gets picked up by a challengers team, Mad Lions. He gets recognized as by far the best player on the team, and it wasn't even close. Carmine Corp picks him up. He has an incredible season, and now if this guy continues to play this game 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a year that this guy is on a team that wins every single international event. I would not be surprised at all. Hero, another great example, right? Another guy who just kind of like came out of nowhere for people who weren't paying attention. What's he doing? He's playing challengers. He's playing challengers on a team. He's getting picked up by Fnatic when they're looking for a player. They take a chance on him. Here he is, dominating. He just made playoffs and champions. He just made playoffs and champions. You don't see these guys committing to collegiate. Why? Because of the amount of time that it takes. You have your school. You might have to get a job. Then you have your collegiate team. Then what? Then what? You can't play tier 3 tournaments. You can't play these monthlies. You don't have time for that. So when you commit to a school this fast, when you commit to collegiate this fast, it becomes everything you have. And it's the place where dreams go to die. There's no global stage. There's no talent scouting. There's no system that moves you up. Yes, there's collegiate teams that try to, put themselves in a position where they can qualify for challengers. And we'll talk about that in a second here. But at the end of the day, in terms of the seriousness, I accidentally stopped my recording there. In terms of seriousness, right? Like this being a real thing, right? Stability, the chance to go pro. Let's just type in a college here. Okay, Fisher. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Who's the main team? Who's the main team? Who's on it? Can you work up to the main team? How does it work like in that dynamic? Because what this looks like to me is a system where people 17, 18, 19 years old are going to school. They have this idea that they can still go pro. They're going to try to manage it. School, job, collegiate team. Maybe they meet a boy, a girl. Maybe they start, hanging out with people, whatever it is. They start to really understand what life is about, and they lose their passion for the game. There's no going pro here, right? This is you trading your skill in Valorant to get a degree in something. Great. Absolutely. I like it. I love it. Let's take a look at, again, like the example of that. So we have Darkest here who played on, sorry, let's back this up. We have Darkest here who played on this team, Northwood University. We're going to use them as an example right now. Okay, here we are in the college championship of 2023. So this was when this team was doing really good, Northwood. They go up against Winthrop. This is the top echelon, right? The top, absolute top echelon of quality in terms of collegiate, right? These 10 players in the grand final here. Okay, Ferb's the Darkest, Dip. You know these guys from SAD Esports Challengers. Darkest ends up recruiting these two in a part of a rebuild. Okay, I would go as far to say that SAD had a good year. They ended up getting into playoffs. I think they were it looks like they were the 7th seed here. And, unfortunately, they end up eliminated without winning a game. But at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter. I think they actually had a good chance. But were they ever favorites? Were they ever considered? Absolutely not. Because they're not committed to the game. Look at his match history. Sorry, this is the SAD Esports one. Look at his match history. They're not fully committed. They can't actually put in 100%. They can't do it. They're playing under Northwood still, while they're competing on SAD. I think that this is the highest that you will ever be able to go if you're in collegiate. This is the absolute highest. An average challengers team that is kind of like one-dimensional. But if you shine like some of them did, Darkest is a good flex player. They had, a couple other good players on their team and what they were doing. You're going to be limited. You're going to be limited. College VALORANT Championship 2024. What's this? Whoa. Is that the best team in the league being FF'd? Because they had challengers qualifiers and they couldn't reschedule around that? Well, in terms of stability, I mean, A+, right? They got to play the entire year and they didn't get dropped, but looks like this isn't a path to pro because they're being FF'd attempting to try to do that. Okay. Here we are, Red Bull Campus Clutch 2022. This is the World Final stage here. Again, top tier, right? We saw 2023, 2024 championship. We saw the top teams in that. Northwood University versus 07. I think this was a school in Canada or something. It was NA, or it was North America, or it was, oh my gosh, it was United States versus Canada. Ferb's the darkest dip, okay? That core. And then you have the rest of the players. Ali trialed for Winthrop. He didn't make it. I don't know if Benji has had any trials. I don't think that any players here can play in challengers right now. Maybe they can play in it, but I don't think they would do good. We can pull up Kane's VLR here. I believe he lost. Yep, here he is losing to Lemonade Stand in a qualifier. So still unable to convert there. Another player that you can probably recognize from that team is Nabil. I've somehow lost it. I don't know where it went. Here we go. Nabil. Let's take a look in terms of like tier 2 play, right? Going pro. Absolutely. Collegiate stable. Let's look at tier 2 play going pro. Okay, he lost. He lost to Lemonade Stand. So unable to get into the league. Literally gate kept, right? Just by the fact of the matter that, you know, these collegiate players, they have so much more responsibility than a normal team. Maryville University, another team to cover here. I mean, I think that this team was like, when they were like announced, they were like favorited as like to like win like the entire thing. And now they're in a position where the team led by MCE, Cloud9's head coach, Eccles, Hunter Thieves, you know, stand-in sub like player, Crunchy Sonics, JC Stanley, Genji, Swayze Aimer, okay, ZK, TSM Academy. I mean, these guys are just bombing out. I mean, not only are they not even able to convert to like get to like the collegiate lands, but like they're unable to like make a run in like the challengers qualifier as well. They're limited. They have school jobs, things they have to worry about. They are limited. This is not a path to pro. Yes, it's stable. Yes, it's stable. It's not a path to pro. It's a path to tier 2. It's a path to tier 2. Hey, you know, I did good in the qualifiers. I play these monthly tournaments, things and stuff like that. I'm looking to go pro. I am looking to do that. Yes, tier 2 can be there. You can potentially level up to a challengers team and abandon your college, but you cannot do both. You can't. St. Clair Saints, top team last year, went to the global final in Turkey, I believe. Here they are losing in the challengers qualifier, and they haven't even been able to get into the qualifying like matches over here. Here's more FF losses just in their career. I didn't even know this was here. Here's Winthrop University getting relegated. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. They have to play collegiate matches. I'm not surprised. They have to play collegiate matches. They have to spend time traveling, going to lands, playing collegiate matches. I'm not surprised they get relegated. I'm not surprised at all. They are not committed 100% to the game. Here's a final that I watched in real life. St. Clair Saints beating Blinn. So like the competition is there, absolutely, in terms of collegiate. Like there is like some talent there. And as we can see here, like challenger team is, you know, getting 2-0'd on the stage here by St. Clair's. So it's absolutely there. Okay? And now the reason that we have Ferbsa pulled up here is just as an example. This is like what I mean in terms of like going pro, at least like team-wise. So like let's just take a look at like Oxy's like teams here and like narrates. So, you know, tier 3, tier 3, tier 3. Okay, you know, you get into challengers now, tier 2. Now you're on like a, you know, tier 1 org, but still in challengers. Okay, now you're on cloud 9, right? There's progress that. Narrate, again, not an absolute best example, but challengers to franchising. Okay, free agent teams, tier 3 teams, challengers to franchising. And then here's Ferbsa. Okay, these were like, you know, higher up tier 3 teams, specifically like the TLC. Lenny Time had like a pretty good run. A lot of people were getting trials, but he's committing to the school, right? And now he's out of the school and he's playing on a free agent team and he's getting eliminated in qualifiers and he isn't able to win. Now he's playing on this team, again, like looking for it. He's back to the school, right? Okay, back to the university. Okay, we're working, we're doing that. Okay, another team trying to, you know, potentially like get signed, go forward, nothing. Losing in qualifiers, committing to a school, having so much to worry about with that, unable to fully commit to the game, gets picked up on SAD Esports, does a okay job on Sentinel, and you know does a good effort for it. Did he put in 100%? I'm not sure. He had to play Collegiate Valorant, so you know he's playing Collegiate Valorant all throughout this time, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's never 100%. into tier 3 and the grind, right? It's this like half in, half out thing, and like this is what we mean. So a lot of colleges don't play tier 2, tier 3 tournaments, or I guess tier 3, tier 4, because they have like all their other stuff going on. They don't really have like a lot of time. I know that they don't take it fully serious. Shift was a team who they were a collegiate team, and again they were playing and like trying to play, and again here they are, losing in like qualifiers, getting eliminated by a free agent team, and then eventually getting eliminated by a signed team. I mean, I know that these guys aren't bad at the game, but at the end of the day, they can't put in 100% because of the school. They have school. They have a potential job. They have this collegiate schedule. It just doesn't work. Okay, that's what actually matters. It just doesn't work. Collegiate is a path to tier 2, which again is fine. It's a good thing. You should take advantage of it. You should go get your degree. It's not going to be there forever. It's not a path to tier 1. Yes, yes, you can have your stability. Sure, no one has ever said anything about that. All that's ever been said is that this is not a path to pro. That's all that actually matters here. Collegiate is where, again, I hate to be the one to say it, but dreams go to die. You commit so much of your time and effort to this, you get involved into other stuff. There's no actual way of making it and going pro because you can't even play on a tier 3 team. You can't even play on a challengers team properly because you have all this other stuff on your table. I would easily say that a team like Blinn Esports, a team like Winthrop, if these guys got to play a season as like a free agent team even in challenge, I think they would do better. I think they would do better. They don't have the burden of all this other stuff that they have to deal with. I think that they would do better. So again, real reason that I wanted to talk about this today was just to like hash out like a lot of stuff. Um, I just think that this is just oversaturated, and people just like make it seem like it's the greatest thing in the entire world. Every single thing I've heard from my friends in collegiate is that people don't try and they don't take it serious. There's a bunch of dumb drama and stuff happening all the time. People don't put in time to get better. They're just there for the scholarship. Great, stability's there. You can be there for 4 years. And if you actually care about the game and have passion, you'll probably be miserable the entire time. But hey, if you get a degree and make some friends, that's great. Because if you half-ass your way through college and Collegiate Valorant, and then you show up 4 years older, hey guys, anybody in? No, no one's interested in you. You didn't go down the dark path. You didn't go down the hard one. You didn't actually get it forged through the flames. It was the easy, safe one. But hey, at least you got something out of it, right? So that's all I really have. I want to really hear what everybody has to say about it. I know that I'm kind of being like harsh and like a dickhead about it, and I'll try to reaffirm it, but I'm not trying to make fun of collegiate. I think collegiate is a good option for people who are undecided or don't know where to go, don't know what their next step is, because you can get a degree from it and you can actually have a positive out of Valorant rather than I wouldn't. It's not flipping a coin. It's like a 1% chance that things go right for you. You behave yourself, and you're there in the right place at the right time, and you get an opportunity. But at the end of the day, it is not a path to pro. It is not a path to tier 1. It's a path to tier 2. Collegiate. It's a path to tier 2. You do good in there, right? You have good stats. You actually have passion and you care for the game, so you still try to play in like tier 3 tournaments. You can actually get noticed and potentially picked up by a challengers team, by a high qualifier placing, tier 3 team, whatever it is. And then you can actually invest your time into that and start making progress. But by no means is CVAL, Red Bull, all this stuff. This does not correlate to going pro. It's not there. It's its own separate thing. It's a great thing. People should take advantage of it. But that's it. Okay, so um, again, I'd like to hear what everybody has to say in the comments. I'm really interested in what people think. I'd really like to hear POVs of collegiate players. Am I being ridiculous when I'm saying that stuff? Like it's not serious at all, right? Or is it more of a thing where, it's unfortunately accurate, where, there are a bunch of FFs every single, tournament that you play. There are a bunch of teams who don't take it serious at all. And there are a bunch of teams who probably get like full rides and stuff like that and maybe are able to invest like more time, and they kind of like smurf the league compared to other teams who have jobs and stuff like that. But I just think it's a totally limiting thing. And it's crazy to think that like people just get like offended and just like point fingers like this. So appreciate you watching. That's all I got. See what I got here. Deuces.